Hello everyone. In this week's topic for our online class, it will be genetics and inherited disorder. So first, let's discuss about genetics. Genetics is actually genes in which a unit of heredity which is transferred from parent to a offspring and held to determine some characteristic of the offspring. And it is determined in its genotype or phenotype. Genotype is actually genes in which our DNA is responsible for our traits. Like for example, eye color, hair color, height, certain behavior, and certain diseases, etc. And phenotype is a physical characteristics based on genotypes. So meaning, let's say your mother and father has different eye colors. Your mother had brown eyes and your father has blue eyes. And you have a brown eyes. So meaning it's actually the outcome of your parents that you will have a specific eye color. It's either brown eyes or blue eyes. So the outcome is actually named the phenotype. So the combination is actually your genotypes. So it's responsible for your traits. So it's either these combinations on your genes, you will have blue eyes, brown eyes, and green eyes. Green eyes are very rare. Brown is a bit dominant. So that's how genetic works. Going forward, we need to understand also alleles. Alleles is different forms of the same gene. So for example, you have these alleles here, the capital D and small d. And the genotype would be the combination of the alleles, different types of combinations. So let's say the first combination is this one, the D, all capital letters. The next combination would be capital D and small d. That's actually the same, but it's just reversed. But it actually determines how it's going to work. And the last one would be small d's. So these are your genotypes. If you had understand our discussion about genotypes and phenotypes, this is actually it. And you have phenotypes. Phenotypes is the outcome. So whether you will have one of these, then that would be your phenotype. Depends on the outcome. We cannot actually determine it, but we can foresee or know what would be the outcome. And again, it's different forms of the same gene, that is your allele. And there are two types of allele, which is the dominant allele, and it will be expressed if they are present. And take note, it is actually represented by a capital letter. So I will be discussing further and what this means. It will always be expressed if they are present. The second type of allele is the recessive allele. It will only be expressed if two copies are present, and it is represented by small letters. Take note, small letters. Capital letter for dominant and small letters for recessive. So how we are going to determine uh, your outcome or your phenotype? We can determine it by calculating it using a Punnett square. Punnett square is a procedure to show what happens to the alleles in the genetic cross, so in a genetic combination. So an example for that is this one. So the genetic cross would be this one, and your alleles would be like this one. So an example for that is this one. Suppose your father's gene is this one, so capital B and small b, and the same with your mother. So what are these capital B and small b? So say capital B is the black eyes and small b is the brown eyes. As you can see in this square, you will have your chances or the result, possible result. So the chances are we have 1 out of 4 in these chances or possibilities that you will have a both capital letters, which is, if you're going to calculate it, it's just 1/4 times 100%, which gives us 25% chance for having a black eyes. So how come you will have a black eyes? So going back to the description of a dominant allele, the dominant allele will always be present if either one of the allele is in the combination. So we have a dominant allele, which is this capital letter B. So either one of them is being expressed, so therefore it will be expressed on our outcome, which is the black eyes. Next would be the capital B and small b. So it's actually 2 out of 4, the same calculation as we did on the previous one. It's 2 out of 4, or 2 divided by 4 times 100%, which gives us a 50% chance for having a black eyes. So again, our dominant allele is present in the combination, so therefore the dominant allele will actually be represented, or it will come out. Okay, so it should have a black eyes. And finally, we have the third chances. So there are only 3 chances here: the capital letter, both capital letters, a combination of capital letter and small letter, and both small letters. So small letters is 1 out of 4. The same calculation with both capital letters here. And as you can see, there is no dominant alleles here because these are both small letters, which means this is a recessive alleles. So recessive alleles will always come out if both of them are present. So this small letters is actually represented by brown eyes. So therefore, the outcome would be a brown eyes. So to be able to have a brown eyes, you're supposed to have a recessive allele or both have small letters on it. So overall, so if we calculate everything here, so calculating everything here that we have here, the overall would be the black eyes. We're going to add everything with the black eyes here. 25% plus 50% will give us 75%. Okay, 75% of having your child as a black-eyed in the genetic cross. On the other hand, there is only one there's only 25% chance for a brown eyes to come out in the genetic cross. So this is how it's going to work. Um, for example, I have another example for this. So for example, calculate and explain the chance of a person inheriting Caucasian gene. Okay, a Caucasian gene is actually white-skinned people, so usually Americans, Europeans. Caucasian is originated in Europe. So you're asked to calculate and explain the chances of a person inheriting a Caucasian gene. If the mother has an allele of CC, take note these are both capital letters, C and C, and their father has the allele of capital C and small c. And take note there is that the Caucasian is the dominant characteristic. So when you say Caucasian is a dominant, therefore a capital C is the outcome for Caucasian. So it's an outcome for the Caucasian. So how are you going to calculate it using your Punnett square? First, you need to draw your table, the father and mother, the same thing as we had on our previous example. So first we calculate the mother. So how are we going to do that? Take note the mother has CC. So we need to put this value CC here in this column. So capital C first, you only need to put one letter for each box that we have here. So one letter, the next one would be the other capital letter, so you put it there. Okay, so that's for our mother. The next one is for your father. So for your father, you will have a, so let me just change that to red again. So for your father, you'll have a capital letter and a small letter. So first you put the capital letter here or either here, but standard would be just put first the first letter, which is the C, and the next one would be the small c here. Okay, so that's how you're going to start. The next thing you need to do is you need to combine this one. So meaning the combination of this capital C and the capital C is the resulting would be here. So both you will have a capital letter. The next one would be the capital letter and small letter, and the result would be here. So the result is going to be there. Alright, so let's just erase that. And the next is the next would be the last row. So again, it's the combination of this one and this one, and you will have a resulting for this combination as capital C and a capital C. And finally, this one and this one, you will have a combination of capital C and small c. Okay? So the chances. The first chance, we just need to look at the same values here on this square. Okay? This square has three possible chances. The combination of two capital letters and a combination of a capital letter and small letter. So we have, first we need to determine first this one. two capital letters. It is actually 2 out of 4. The same computation that we did previously. So 2 divided by 4 times 100%, which gives us a Caucasian, 50% Caucasian. Again, it's a dominant allele. So either one of them is present in our allele here, the dominant trait will always comes out, which is the Caucasian. So if you're going to go back here, we have the Caucasian here. It's a dominant characteristic. Okay, and the next chances would be 2 out of 4, which is the capital letter and a small letter. So same computation on the upper part, and the outcome would be Caucasian again because the dominant trait is present in the combination. We cannot have the non-Caucasian here because there is no combination of small letters. Small letters combination or the recessive allele should have two small letters. Two will have to get a non-Caucasian. Okay. So overall, the turnout would be, okay, let's just erase that one so that you can see it clearly. Okay, so overall the turnout would be 100% because there is no non-Caucasian in our chances here. So the combination of the mother and father with this type of allele will have a 100% turnout to be Caucasian. And take note, both mother and father is actually Caucasian. So mother is Caucasian because of her allele as all capital letters, and the father is also a Caucasian because one of the dominant allele is present. Okay, so that's how you're going to compute using your Punnett square.